Welcome to Personal Finance Deep Dives, where we help you make your money work for you.
Okay, let's dive right in. I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to think about the very first answer that pops into your head. Ready? So if you're like most of us, your brain probably jumped to some pretty wild ideas, right? Maybe winning the lottery or, hey, marrying a millionaire. And I gotta admit, my personal favorite on here? Sell feet pics. I mean, you gotta have a backup plan, right? Look, it's fun to daydream, for sure. But let me tell you, the truth is, well, it's a lot more boring, but it's also a heck of a lot more powerful. So let's bust some of these crazy myths. Okay, first things first. We have to get this idea out of our heads that all millionaires are just lucky trust fund kids. The data is crystal clear. A whopping 80% of America's millionaires are first generation. They made it on their own, from scratch. And this right here, this perfectly illustrates the massive difference between what we think creates wealth and what actually does. You know, we imagine these flashy lifestyles, luxury cars, high-risk stock picking, but the reality? It's usually a paid-off car, a pretty normal house, and just consistent, boring, long-term investing. The key is that wealth isn't about looking rich, it's about being rich. That brings us to our first takeaway. Real millionaires are made, not born. They build wealth through discipline, not by winning the lottery. All right, so before we get into the nuts and bolts, the actual how-to, we've got to talk about how to think. Seriously, because becoming a millionaire, it's like 90% a mental game. This quote from the man himself, Warren Buffett, just completely flips the script on how most people handle their money. Think about it. Most of us, we get our paycheck, we spend, and then we just kind of hope there's something left to save. But the wealthy, they do the complete opposite. They pay themselves first, they save and invest, and then they spend what's left over. It's such a simple shift, but it is absolutely profound. And this really gets to the core of it. It's about shifting from a mindset of scarcity or stress to one of empowerment. You have to adopt what's called a growth mindset. So instead of thinking, I'm just bad with money, you believe you can learn, you can adapt, and you can get better. You know, a bad investment isn't seen as a failure. It's more like a tuition payment for a really valuable lesson. People with this mindset, they don't see money as this big stressor. They see it as a tool. They truly believe they control their own destiny. And you know what? The data completely backs this up. That brings us to our next takeaway. Your financial success begins with your mindset. View money as a tool for freedom, not a source of stress. Okay, so we're about to get into the real meat and potatoes, the blueprint. But first, a quick pause. If this explainer is providing you value, please just take a quick second to like, share, and subscribe. It really helps our channel grow. Thank you so much. All right, you ready? Let's get into the 3-step millionaire blueprint. Okay, so I've literally boiled down decades of research and wisdom from countless millionaires into three simple, unforgettable steps. Step 1, get out of debt. Step 2, invest 15%, or hey, even more. And step 3, grow your income. That's it. It's almost boringly simple, which is exactly why it's so powerful. First up, you have got to get intense, laser focused on paying off your debt. Debt is just quicksand for your financial dreams, especially that high-interest consumer debt. Millionaires avoid it like the plague. Now, a really powerful way to do this is with the debt snowball method. The idea is you list out all your debts, smallest to largest, and you attack that smallest one with everything you've got. Once it's gone, damn, you get this huge psychological win and you roll that payment into the next one. It's more about behavior and momentum than pure math, and trust me, it is incredibly effective. So once you're finally free from those crushing debt payments, you move on to step 2. And this one, it's an absolute non-negotiable. You have to consistently invest at least 15% of your gross household income. Think of it like this. This 15% slice of your pie, that's not for today. That is for your future. It's dedicated to wealth building and you have to protect it fiercely. And then the final step is how you really accelerate your progress. You pour gasoline on the fire by growing your income. See, relying on just a single paycheck, it really limits your potential. You've got to find ways to open up the pipeline. Ask for that raise, get a second job or side hustle, start a small business, develop some new high-value skills. The whole point is to create more streams of income to pour into your wealth-building engine. So there you have it. That brings us to our next takeaway. The blueprint is simple. Number 1, eliminate consumer debt. Number 2, invest at least 15% of your income. And number 3, systematically increase your earnings. It's a simple, repeatable plan. It's not a secret, it's a system. Okay, so following the blueprint is one thing, but making it actually work for you, that requires the real secret ingredient. And that's consistency, doing it over and over and over again over time. Let's take a look at just how powerful starting early and staying consistent really is. I mean, check this out. What's so interesting here is how dramatically time changes the outcome. If you start investing at 25, you could have over $2 million by retirement. But wait just 10 years, start at 35, and that number gets cut in half. Wait until 45? Well, you see the numbers. That isn't magic, people. That's compound growth, and it is the most powerful force in the universe for building wealth. It does all the heavy lifting for you. Now, the single biggest trap that can completely derail all this amazing progress is something called lifestyle inflation. I'm sure you've heard of it. See, resisting this urge, this temptation to spend more just because you're making more, that's what separates the truly wealthy from people who just have a high income. It is the final piece of the puzzle. That brings us to our next takeaway. Consistency is your superpower. You have to avoid lifestyle inflation and just let compound growth do all that heavy lifting for you. All right, we have covered a ton of ground today. So before we wrap this up, let's do a super quick recap of the core principles we talked about. First up, and this is so important, remember that real millionaires are made, not born. It all comes down to discipline, not just dumb luck. Next, you have to get your head in the game. Master your money mindset. Remember, money isn't a source of stress, it's a tool to build freedom. Then, you just follow the blueprint. It's simple. Kill your consumer debt, invest at least 15% of your income, and always be looking for ways to grow that income. And finally, the secret ingredient that makes it all work: consistency. You just have to stick with it over the long haul and let time do its thing. So, I'll leave you with just one final thought. The path is actually really simple. The real question is, are you ready to walk it? That's all for now, folks. Please like, share, and subscribe for more like this.